What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I use Lux Algo Premium to find all my trade setups, specifically for cash secure puts and the poor man's covered call. I'll go over the settings that I use in Lux Algo, which Lux Algo indicators I actually use, and I've been using for many, many years. So yeah, get ready to take some notes, and let's dive right in. As always, nothing in this video is financial advice. It's all for informational and educational purposes only. All right, so let me X out of all of this stuff so you guys can see exactly what your charts look like when you first get into trading, and then we'll go step by step, add the Lux Algo indicator. So first, when you log into TradingView, this is what your chart's going to look like. Just regular candlesticks. You select your time frame. I like to use the daily chart for looking up cash secure put opportunities and the poor man's covered call. So here's what it looks like. Now, you can use the link in my description, sign up for Lux Algo. Once you have Lux Algo and it's connected, you send them your TradingView username when you sign up. They'll add you to their list, and then the indicator is going to start showing up in your invite only right here. Okay, so I use the oscillator matrix. I'm going to add that. Price action concepts, I use that. And signals and overlays, I use all three of these. Now, this is what it looks like when you first install it. There's a lot of information and it can get a little overwhelming. So here are the settings that I use. The first thing that I do, I go into oscillator matrix. I like to look at overbought and oversold levels. This right here is very, very faint, right? At the 80 level and the 20 level. So what I like to do is I go into settings, style. I'll go down here to levels. So level, 80 and 20. I'm going to click here and do yellow. I want to make that 100%. Thickness is fine. I want a straight line. Click OK. Go back. Level, yellow, right here. Make that 100%. Thickness is fine. Line style. Okay. Now, when something is overbought or oversold, much easier to look at with the yellow lines. I'm very visual, so I want to make sure that I'm clearly able to see this without having to, strain my eyes too much. Then the other thing is for signals and overlays. I'm going to go into settings. Some of this stuff gets automatically added. So for filters and presets, I do none. Signal mode, I have the confirmation and exits whenever I'm using that. And for this, I like to, let me move this over so you guys can see this. Right now, there's just, let's go back. All right. You see these arrows, right? It's just an arrow up, arrow down with a plus. Lux Algo has a system where it can actually give it a numerical value from 1 to 4. So 4 being the strongest, 1 being the weakest. On here, which is the ML signal classifier, I like to turn that on. So I like to see how strong those signals are. See how that's a 2, 3, 1. Whatever. And then the candle coloring, I like to keep it at confirmation simple. And for signal sensitivity, the default is 12. I like to use 16 because I've just been using it for years at 16 and I've learned how to use it properly. So I like to use it at 16, and that usually gets rid of a lot of signals, right? So, it works off of a longer time frame. So for me, it's been a lot more accurate. So I use 16. Then right here, the main thing that I use over here when I'm using the signals and overlays, I don't use a smart trail as much. I will use reversal zones. And reversal zones are very, very similar to Bollinger Bands, but all of their other data in it. I feel they're much more accurate than Bollinger Bands. So I use the reversal zones. And then that's it. That's all I do for the settings on those. Because over here, I like to see, hey, when something comes into a reversal zone, and when it comes out, it works out pretty well when things are bouncing off of the reversal zones and stuff like that, right? I like that. But the main things that I'll use the signals and overlays from time to time. But what my bread and butter is when I'm looking for a lot of opportunities for cash secure puts and also the poor man's covered call is the price action concept. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide this. This is what the price action concept looks like. This is primarily what I use along with the oscillator matrix when I'm finding opportunities. That's why, if you guys are a part of my Patreon where I share all my trades, when I'm exiting, entering, all that stuff in almost real time with my trade alerts, and then we've got an educational community. If you guys are part of that, you've noticed that I always have screenshots whenever I post my trade alerts. So this way you guys can understand what my thought process is for getting into that trade. And that's what I'm going to get into right now. This is the thing about price action concepts that I really, really like. The main things I want to look at is I want to look at these order blocks that automatically get printed over here. These are like support and resistance. I don't like to draw support and resistance. And this helps me figure that stuff out because this tells me, hey, there's a bearish order block right here because it's in red, which has $126 million in sell orders sitting at this level. So that becomes a resistance. The next resistance is up here, which has $225 million of orders that are sitting there. The bottom right here, this becomes support. That says there's $278 million worth of buy orders that are sitting here. And then again, at this level, at the 450 level, there's a bunch more. And this is just on Meta. This will do it for whatever stock that you guys are thinking about getting involved in. So it adjusts to that particular stock. Let's stay on Meta for a minute. That's the order blocks and the price action concepts. The other thing that I also look at from time to time is the change of character. This tells you when there's a change of character that's going from a bearish trend to a positive trend. And the other cool thing about this is it also gives you the break of structure when things are about to, break structure. So there's a change of character that goes up from the upside. Then sometimes there's a pullback and the stock continues to go up. That's when it breaks this structure, the higher high. Again, it went down. Again, broke structure, went up. This also helps when I'm looking at some of these trades. But the main things that I look at the order blocks for support and resistance when I'm trying to select my strike price. And then I use the Lux Algo oscillator for the money flow and the oversold, overbought levels. And what this also does is, I know there's a lot of videos out there about bullish and bearish divergence. And a lot of people get confused about, okay, what is bullish divergence? What is bearish divergence? So basically, the way that works out is bullish divergence is if a stock price keeps going down, but the RSI, it's actually going up. It's actually moving positive when it flips around. So when that happens, this oscillator matrix, look, if I X that out, it gets rid of that. So the oscillator matrix also tells you all the different places where there's bearish divergence, where the price action is going up, this is actually going down. So there's more chances of a stock coming down, right? So it draws all of that stuff out for you, which makes it super, super easy. So I look at that from time to time. But the main thing is I want to see this big green dot, which gives me a reversal signal when it's oversold. And right up here, when it's overbought, looking to come down. Again, this was earnings, so that's an anomaly. But you'll see when things are overbought with the reversal signal, it tends to be fairly accurate. Of course, no indicator is ever 100% right. So that's why we have to use our own brains and we have to look for confirmations and make our own judgments, because no indicator you can blindly follow. There's no magic pill like that. But when you take some of this data in account, it does help make the decisions where the odds are in your favor. So when I'm looking to sell a cash secured put, what I look for is the stock oversold. I'd like to buy it cheaper. But then, how cheap do I want it? Where is there support where the stock might bounce off of if it gets to that point? I use the order blocks for that. This money flow is beautiful. I really like the money flow because what this tells you is how much money is going in and out of that stock. A lot of people like to use the volume, right? But the volume, it tells you daily volume, if it's positive, negative, all of that stuff, right? Let me put that on here. The volume indicator, right? Which is just straight up, just normal. It's daily volume, right? All of this stuff. Like, okay, negative volume, there's a lot of negative volume, stock is going to go down lots, right? It's giving you daily stuff. What the oscillator matrix does, it tells you the overall money flow going in and out of the stock. So if there's negative money flow, right? There's more money going out of the stock than coming in, more than likely the stock's going to be going down. Okay? And when the negative money flow kind of flatlines or stops and now there's less negative money flow, which is going towards a positive, that's when the stock usually goes up. And that right here, again, even though it looks like, hey, the money flow is negative, but the stock went down, that's due to earnings. Okay? But the money flow did start going down, right? And then when money flow started coming back up again, because now there's more buyers than sellers. People are putting more money into the stock. I know I'm all over the place in this video, but I didn't really make this very structured. I just wanted to have a chat with you guys about what I look at, because I've been getting a lot of requests about, hey, what settings do I use? How am I using Lux Algo to do some of these trades? How am I so consistent? So this is the key to it. Put it all together with the notes that you guys are taking. You can rewatch this as many times as you like as well. Now let's look at this trade, for example, that I had done on Costco. This was a cash secured put that I had sold on Costco. And looking at the analysis, this is basically what I did. All right, what was the strike price that I selected? It was a $900 put. This is what I looked at. I saw that, Costco had a pullback. When I got into this trade on this date, the money flow had just turned positive after the negative money flow had been decreasing, and now it was positive, and there was a reversal right here that showed some positive momentum. I saw that there was a big order block of $14 million worth of orders that were sitting right here at the 910 level. And that's why I selected the $900 cash secured put, because if Costco went down, there's some chances that it could bounce back once these orders start triggering. And if not, if it breaks through, guess what? I'm still below the recent support. And this way I can continue selling covered calls if I was to get a sign on my cash secured puts. This was the main thing. I wanted to look at where the levels were, and I wanted to see that this is where the money flow turned positive. And then I sold those cash secured puts. And then I think just a couple of weeks later, I closed them out early and locked in a 57% profit off of the premium that was collected. Let's take a look at this example that I recently did just about a week and a half ago or so. And this was on Coinbase. I saw that Coinbase was coming close to this support level, which had a bullish order block of $134 million worth of buy orders right here. It was very, very oversold. And there was a reversal dot right here that Lux Algo was telling me. When I saw this, it was trading at $244. When I made this trade and I put out that alert on my Patreon, I selected the $190 put. The $190 price point would be right around this area, right? Below even this $200 support. So when it's this oversold and there's support right here, there's a lot of different things at play that could get Coinbase to kind of bounce up after, if it gets close to these levels. So I thought the 190 level was very safe and the odds were in my favor for that. And guess what? What happened was this is what I did. And then I got out just November 25th is when I got into this trade. November 28th, I exited, keeping almost 60% of the premium that I'd collected. So, almost $600 profit in a few days. So let's look at the live chart to see what happened between November 25th and November 28th. So here's Coinbase on a daily chart, November 25th, right? This is where those support levels were, right? So November 25th, right here, that's when I got in. And then the stock went in my favor because it did bounce. It bounced off of this support level right here. And just a few days later, I was able to capitalize on the data that I got from Lux Algo. And I was able to go out and close out that trade for a quick profit in just a few days. So yeah, Lux Algo has been a great tool. I've been using it for many, many years. And you guys know, I don't really talk about tools and there are a lot of companies that are after me to kind of promote some of their products and stuff. And I don't, because I only like to promote what I'm actually using. So Lux Algo has been great. It's one of the main tools that I use to scan the markets every day to see, what's looking good, what's looking bad, where the opportunities are and stuff like that. If you guys want, check out Lux Algo Premium. I've got a link to it in the description below. And if you guys want to see the trades that I'm actually making when I get in, get out, when I adjust them, I've got a great community chat where you can ask me questions, as well as download all my trading checklists for the different strategies that I use. Check out the link in my bio. And if you guys got some value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. I'll see you on the next one.